The indignity of the preceding moments, the public shaming, the concession of the seat had stung Matthew Barnes with an intolerable force. Everything he'd built, his status, his power, his assumed respect, felt threatened by that trivial, humiliating incident. A cold, dark thought solidified in his mind. He slipped his phone from his jacket pocket, his hand trembling minutely as he unlocked it. Around him, the other first-class passengers were settling into post-takeoff relaxation, utterly oblivious to the poison he was about to unleash. Quietly, Barnes rose and slipped toward the rear of the cabin, seeking the false privacy of the lavatory. The door clicked shut, and in the confined space, his heartbeat was a thunderous accusation. He dialed. "Detroit Airport, Emergency Security Hotline. How may I assist you?" came the calm, automated voice. Matthew drew a slow, steadying breath, forcing his voice into a tone of icy control, though his eyes burned with cold, wounded rage. "I'm calling from Flight 724 to San Francisco. I need to report a serious security issue. There's a young passenger on board using forged documents to occupy a first-class seat. I believe this may be part of a broader fraud scheme that could threaten flight safety." "Can you tell me more about this passenger?" the operator asked. Matthew swallowed, hardening his resolve. His voice dropped, certain and chilling. "Her name is Kayla Brooks. She's an African-American girl. I suspect she's not only using fake credentials but may be involved in financial fraud. I demand immediate verification. This is a critical security matter." He hung up, his pulse hammering. Guilt flickered for a second, then was snuffed out by the consuming fire of his anger and wounded pride. For Matthew, this was more than revenge. It was the ultimate proof that he still controlled every situation, no matter how small. Minutes later, the captain's voice crackled over the PA system with grave, shattering urgency. "Ladies and gentlemen, we've received a credible security report. We must return immediately and make an emergency landing at Oakland International for verification. Please remain seated. We apologize for the inconvenience." A collective gasp and ripple of alarm swept the cabin. Kayla turned to her father, genuine confusion and true worry for the first time clouding her expression. Sean Brooks gripped her hand, a solid knot of dread forming in his chest. "Dad, something's wrong," she whispered. A few rows back, Helen Grant shot a quick, piercing glance at Matthew, who had violently averted his eyes toward his phone, his body language stiff with forced nonchalance. She sensed the sinister truth instantly, piecing together the magnitude of his calculated malice. The plane banked sharply, beginning its urgent descent, tension mounting with every second. 15 minutes later, Flight 724 touched down on Oakland's runway in a heavy, unnatural hush. The moment the aircraft came to a full stop, the main cabin door swung open. 2 security officers, flanking a sharply dressed airline official, stepped into the aisle. "Passenger Kayla Brooks, please stand and accompany us," one officer announced in a firm, detached tone that cut through the silence. "We've received a report concerning the authenticity of your travel documents." Kayla froze, a deep chill running down her spine. She looked up at her father, her eyes wide with terror. Sean Brooks leapt to his feet, protective fury blazing in his gaze as he faced the officers. "There's been a mistake. My daughter is fully legal. Her paperwork has been verified. We are following standard procedure, Mr. Brooks, please cooperate," the other officer replied curtly. The entire cabin fell silent, riveted by this unprecedented scene. Kayla's legs trembled, but she forced herself to stand tall, her small face composed despite the terror tightening her chest. She caught sight of Matthew Barnes turning his body away, deliberately avoiding eye contact, confirming her worst fears. Sean moved instantly to her side, his voice a low, steel threat. "I'm coming with her. You're not taking my daughter alone." The officers exchanged a look and allowed Sean to accompany Kayla off the plane. Every passenger watched them go, transfixed by the dramatic consequence of a petty first-class feud. Behind them, Matthew sat motionless, his expression unreadable, having successfully orchestrated the first act of his catastrophic revenge.